Welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and this is my wonderful co-host,
PG Tye here. Welcome, everyone.
Hope everyone's doing well today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me check my audio here. How does it sound, everybody? How do you think? Does that sound okay?
I think it's pretty clear, yep.
Yeah, I just bump up the volume. I actually just bought a desktop last week.
Oh.
And I haven't. I don't have it yet. It's ready, but I had to go to. I was teaching in Canada. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
So, will you be quiet? I got my other co-host,
Mm-hmm.
the one who wants all the screen time. So, yeah, we had a good time up in Canada this weekend. It was the third Southern Ontario camp. We already got next year's schedule. It'll be the last weekend of November, which is our Thanksgiving, and not the Canadian Thanksgiving. That's actually our Columbus Day weekend. But they know it as our Black Friday weekend.
I need to make another one of those. Those are fun.
Yeah. So we're rated a hotel, and we got sponsored by Montana's Barbecue and Grill for the instructors dinner. It was awesome.
Excellent.
So listen, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to bring them right in, because this is what it's about. Because if you may have noticed, our intro got a lot shorter.
Good.
A lot shorter. And having some issues with YouTube. They're saying the music I'm using is licensed. I'm like, yeah, but I'm paying for a canvas, so I got to go back and forth. They go, it won't affect your viewing, but monetization. I go, I don't care about monetization, but still, nonetheless. So I am going to bring in our guest, and then I'm probably going to mute my mic while I deal with the knucklehead.
Okay.
Otherwise known as Tyre, my loving dog. So let me pull this up here. So I have this here, Matt Jones. He's already going. Look at that. Wow, PG Tye looks sharp. Can't touch this. Boom, boom, boom.
Work. It's work. I just came in from work. And boy,
All
am
right,
I tired.
So last week we did part 1, which was WMA Canada. Today is part 2, WMAA Brazil. So with no further ado, from Rio de Janeiro, Professor Tallis.
Awesome.
How you doing, Tallis?
Hello, guys. Hello, Datu. Hello, PJ.
Hey there.
It's a great honor.
I'm heading out to deal with my knucklehead dog. I'll be right back.
Right.
For those who are listeners, boa noite para todos. É grande prazer conversar com vocês nesse podcast.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're doing the whole show in Portuguese, but yeah. Very good.
That's right. Maybe there's someone from Brazil here listening us.
That'd be nice. I caught the first part of that, so that was good. I speak a little Spanish, but anyway, yeah, welcome to the show. Glad to have you spend some time with us. Instead, I think you came on once just for a quick hi before, but it's good to have you here to talk about, what you're doing in Brazil. But what I thought I'd do is, why don't you say a few words about yourself and introduce yourself and maybe how you got into FMA, if you don't mind.
Of course. For those who don't know me, my name is Thales de Azevedo. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I'm a long-time practitioner of martial arts. Like a lot of guys, I started in martial arts in my childhood. Started with judo, karate, taekwondo, the traditional martial arts. When I am teenager, I started practicing boxing.
Oh, nice.
That became my great passion until now. Until nowadays, boxing is a great passion. Until that one day, I was at the movies. I was at the theater watching a movie, and I remember that I saw an action movie with a lot of cool movements. Say, oh man, what did those guys learn to fight like this? Who was responsible? And then I searched to know what kind of martial arts what that. And one day, some years after, I watched The Born Identity. And I saw, it's amazing. I need to I need to learn this. And after this, that I started to search more about FMA and start to practice FMA, because it's very interesting, because Philippines and Brazil have some common points in history.
Mhm.
Philippines was a colony from Spain, and Brazil was a colony from Portugal. And even the name of the Philippines is because of the Prince Philip that was responsible to join the crown from Portugal and Spain for some times during the 16th century. And despite of this, very few people know something about Philippines here in Brazil, because maybe because it's in the other side of the in the other side of the world, maybe. But after this, that I started to not only to practice to practice FMA, but also to learn more and to study and to research more about the Filipino history, and to understand how related is their history with our own. So
Nice.
So, real quick for those who, if you haven't figured it out, Talis is pretty smart. So,
Exactly.
Talis, what was your profession?
yes, here in Brazil, our educational system is a little bit different from the educational system from US. So I'm graduated as a computer engineer, but I also have a undergraduate. I believe that the term in England, in America, is undergraduation, with education of physical education and history.
Excellent.
It's
It was a very
and
educational trip to Brazil, because everywhere I'm like, he's like, da, 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 and he's like, how the hell do you know all this stuff? Oh, I'm a historian. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Actually, he was a historian before he was the computer guy.
Yes, my first graduation was in history. So during my time in at the college, I studied a lot about especially the Rio de Janeiro history, because I believe that when we know our history, we can understand how the things are, why the things are like that they is. So when I finished my first college, when I finished my history graduation, I study about the history of my city, and because of this, that until now I keep researching and writing things in Portuguese about the Filipino history, because as I told you, there's very few, very few material in Portuguese about the Philippines, the history of Philippines, and I'm trying not only to translate the material that exists, because there is a lot of material in English, but I need to adapt, and I need to, I need to explain to people in Brazil how the history of Philippines is like it is. So I'm trying to. I'm also. I also try to have a good relationship with the Filipino community in Brazil. It's not so large like in other countries. It's a very few community that we have here, but we have a community, and also I try to have a good relationship, because what I'm trying to do is to explain their histories to the Brazilian people, to the Brazilian practitioners.
Nice.
So, this is the show for those tuning in late. Okay, so and it's been one of those days. I've been in my car all day. Ty's been running around all day. So those whom haven't done this, go to Facebook, And actually, let me pull this thing up here. Is it Facebook or do we go to? I forgot. There's a way. We don't know who you are. I'm having a hard time with this. Can't stream. There you go. All right. If you go to streamer.com/Facebook for your permission settings, we have right here, Facebook user. Thanks for wishing us a good evening. Don't know who you are. It happens a lot. Sometimes permissions are working well. Other times they're not. Oh, it's Darren. Darren, my man. We like Darren. Darren says, oh, okay. Then Rich Parsons says, gentlemen. So I must be talking about you two guys, not me.
Well, at least it's two of us anyway.
Bon dia. Am I pronouncing that right? Bon dia?
Yeah. Bon dia, it's like good morning.
Good morning. All right. That's from Renee from Canada. He's one of our dog brother friends. It's a contradiction that both Renee and us have friends, but his Facebook name is Growling Dog. All right. Does Guru Tye study or have studied BJJ?
BJJ? No. I'm not a big fan of grappling fighting, despite of to live and to born and to live in one of the most BJJ cities of the world. I'm since despite of my past in judo, I always prefer the strike styles of martial arts, not grappling or BJJ. Sorry.
As someone who's getting ready for his blue belt test, let me just throw this out to you. You know, all know what BJJ stands for. Basically, just judo. So Talis already did the stand-up element.
Maybe capoeira? Any capoeira?
Man, yeah, here in Brazil, we have, especially here in Rio de Janeiro, we have two main styles of capoeira.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is we call the regional capoeira. Mm-hmm. This regional capoeira was, like most of FMA, it was organized in the beginning of the 20th century. Was that moment before the Second World War, when all the nations are trying to build in their identity, especially the nations that become independent in the end of the 19th century. So we are passed through a moment that we are trying to create our own identity, our identity as a nation. And the original capoeira born with some influences from the Oriental martial arts. So in the original capoeira, we have a more, flying movements, and we have a gradation systems like the belts, but it's, I forgot the name in English, the strings. You have ropes. A colored, the ropes, yes, the ropes. So there's some colored ropes, and this capoeira become the most popular of them. And we have another style of capoeira that is called capoeira de Angola, Angola capoeira. It's this different from the original capoeira that is more flying movements. In the capoeira de Angola, we have more down movements. It's in some way it's similar to from some Silat movies, for example. It's more closer to the ground, and this capoeira, they don't have a graduation system. They don't. If you are a practitioner, or if you spend a lot of years practicing, you can become a monitor that we call a countermaster, and after a lot of years, you become a master. But I practiced this kind of capoeira for a little bit time, some years ago. But I'm a 2-meter guy, so I'm very tall.
Right.
So it's do not work to me so well. But it's a very good exercise. And despite of this, both capoeiras, the original one and the Angola one, they are very related to culture in the religious movement that we have in Brazil. So It's more than just a martial art or a system of self-defense. They have all a background from the Africans that came to Brazil, and they keep this until now. Something interesting about capoeira is because some groups of capoeira, they have stick fighting systems that is called maculele. The maculele, it's based on short sticks that we use in arnis, and that are made with wood that we call biriba, that is much more harder than the rattan, but you can stab, you can slash someone without to broke the stick. It's much more culture stuff. So it's much more. It's not an independent system. It's inside capoeira. The maculele is inside the capoeira, but it's very interesting to see and very beautiful to see the demonstrations. And to be honest, here in Brazil, it's very difficult to buy some rattan sticks. We don't have any kind of bamboo or other kind of tree similar with good resistance like rattan. So, for example, with my students, it's very common that we use this same wood, biriba, because I have some friends who practice maculele, and they have a shop from capoeira stuffs, and I asked them to produce some sticks in the same size that we use in arnis.
Like I said, Talis is a very educated person. I wish. Oh, you know what? I'm going to look. So when we were down there, PG Craig, and Talis did some sparring. So they're in their suits, and I took the camera, and I took like an overhead view type camera photo, and it made Talis look like a giant. And I'm looking to see if I go. I mean, Talis is big, but he's not that big. You know, it was pretty funny. I was dying. I'm trying to.
That picture was very cool.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, dude, when did you get so short? No, he's not short. Talis is tall. Right angle. Oh, I found it. Okay, here we go. So obviously, if any of our Brazilian friends are tuning in for the first time, watching, supporting their brother Talis here, our show is a little, it's entertaining to say the least. So there. Talis is not that. He's taller.
Craig looks like a very small person, and he's not.
It looks like one of us standing next to Hulk Hogan or someone.
Right.
That
mais alto. There we go. PT Craig's here.
Oh, did he say hello?
We summoned him. Yeah, you summoned him.
You like that? You like that photo, Craig?
Yeah.
I'm
lucky that to use this protection, because if I'm not here in this protection, I will be slashed by Craig during the whole time because he's very fast.
He is.
So let's get caught up on a few things. Now we have some smart Alex on who watch our show. Let me see here. I don't know. I really shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. He goes, I heard when Tim got the bikini wax, they changed and double looked at the shaved vampire. Like, okay, whatever. Rodent Tye, is Tye the lawyer you get when you can't afford an attorney?
No, that's my daughter is the lawyer.
Okay. What? You don't study BJJ? You're fired. Okay. It is funny. I'm a Brazilian martial artist. Not doing good. So Matt, yeah, the ropes in capoeira are similar to belts.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what this is. So
Piri piri.
Is piri piri Portuguese or Brazilian? What is piri piri? Talis, do you have any what that is?
So the what? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, it's food.
Oh,
Okay. So about the color of the ropes, the use is the same of the belts is to show the graduation of the people, but I can't the order of the colors are completely different than from judo, and there's not something like a black rope. It's I can't tell you
aren't the colors the Brazilian flag?
You have like a yellow, green, but it's a little bit different. And
if I'm not mistaken, they're all the colors from the Brazilian flag.
Yeah, and that is something curious about it, because there's some people that prefer. It's not the majority of the people. The majority of people prefer to use the colors, but it's interesting because the colors of the Brazilian flag, it's not from it's heritage from the imperial time, because different from the other countries in America, when the Brazilian become independent from the Portugal, they do not become a republic, they become an empire. And during the whole 19th century, Brazilian was a monarchy, and our flag nowadays is the flag from the monarchy, because was the colors of the royal house. So when they in the end of 19th century, when it became a republic, we just changed the middle of the flag, putting a night sky with the stars. But the colors, the green and the yellow, are more related to the imperial houses than about any other stuff. So because of this, that some guys are not so anxious about use the same colors, but it's the majority. It's not the majority. The majority prefer to use, because despite of the oranges, the Brazilian flag nowadays is the flag that everybody is understand themselves as a Brazilians.
Mm-hmm. Nice. No, I love all the history. I could tell early on that, from your description, that you must have been into history and culture too. And like you said, what kind of it tells you about the origins and where things come from, right? It's very good. I appreciate that. So have you always been in, obviously you're Brazilian, speak Portuguese. Have you always lived in Brazil, or have you been lived other places, traveled, anything like that?
No, I'm born and I grew in Brazil. I have some opportunities to travel. I traveled to US once, a lot of years ago, and I have some opportunities to travel in the other countries here in South America. But born and raised here in Brazil.
Nice. And obviously your English is way better than our Portuguese, which is why we're doing this here. But also, do you speak any other language?
Yes, my English is I learned English because of the video games when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I have a console Master System from Sega, and my father gave me a game. Is Ultima 4, and it's a role play game from video games, and in the package was written, you need to have an advanced knowledge in English. And I talked to my father, what? I don't have a knowledge in English. So he gave me, together with the video game, he gave me a dictionary, a web story dictionary, English, Portuguese. See, now we have opportunity to learn it.
All right. Well, hey, here's a question for everybody. So Miguel Ruby is on. Hello, brother. We got to talk this week. Hey. He's our friend from FMA Supplies. I'm going to gear this towards him because Sam asked a question. I don't know the answer, and Miguel is a blade guy. He's a connoisseur. He's got a very nice collection. Does some cutting things. So Sam would like to know, which is unrelated to what we're talking about at the moment. Is there a Filipino version of tatami mats for cutting, like the Japanese practice with the swords? Now, I have seen some guys who with Filipino blades do the same cutting with the tatami style. They use the same ones that the Japanese stylists do. I'm not sure. So, Miguel, if you happen to know, I'd love to hear from you. And then when we go, Dan Medina is listening from South Carolina. Hey, brother, hope you're doing well. And then Eric, there we go. He must be out of the gym. He's coming from Portland, Oregon.
That's right.
So, so the show is about the World Modern Arnis Alliance in Brazil. We got a good background on you already. So let's move forward on this here, because I know this show we got a little less time than we normally would have. But the good thing is we're not sharing it with 14 people like the Canadian one where they invaded us.
That's right. It's the exchange rate yet again.
The exchange rate. So how did you get involved with the World Modern Arnis Alliance?
Well, since that I started to practice Filipino martial arts, I always try to. Seems that Filipino martial arts are not so familiar for everybody in Brazil. I try to research how it looks like. For example, if you I can know how to punch, I can know how to kick, but it's to know how to punch and to know how to kick is completely different than to say that I'm a advanced practitioner of Shotokan Karate, because Shotokan Karate has a very specific way of kicking and punching that is different from kickboxing or other kind of martial arts. It's the same way I can tell you that I know how to trap, I know how to grab, and but I cannot say that I'm a Wing Chun advanced practitioner, because Wing Chun have a very specific movement signature. These martial arts, they have a signature. Since that we don't have a traditional with in Filipino martial arts in Brazil, I need to use, or I have two options: or I trust blindly for those who are teaching me, or I'm need to research and to see what the people are doing around the world, to compare with myself and to see, okay, what I'm doing is Filipino martial arts or not. What I'm doing is I'm calling Filipino martial arts, but it's completely different. I know that it's something that happens in Brazil, but I believe that happens around the world. Is to provide some national names for something that is completely different. For example, there's a research here in Brazil. Alton, he have a book, a series of book that is much more before the MMA, and he tried to recover about the history of MMA, the UFC, and even the BJJ from the beginning. And he found a news from 30, 40 years ago with some guys talking about the arriving of the Thai boxing in Brazil. But it's not the Thai boxing. When you saw nowadays the footage, it's not Thai boxing. It's much more something like a Savate or French boxing. But assume that came from Thailand. It's Thailand, but it's not. Nowadays we know that. So why I'm talking this? When I start to practice, I told you that I discovered the Filipino martial arts. I discovered about that stuff, and I look, who can teach me this? I found some guys here in Brazil who had this background and started to training, and was okay, was good. But these people, they prefer, a way martial arts okay, it's a way. But as soon that I learned their knowledge, I say, oh, Filipino martial arts that I'm seeing the people doing at the videos, the master, etc. And I say, okay, it's good to learn this from you, but it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Arnis, I'm looking for Kali, Eskrima. This is what I want to learn. I don't want to learn something just a knife or a stick fighting. I want to learn Arnis. So some years, some time passed by. I have an opportunity to work in a different city. Was Brasilia, and in Brasilia, I had the opportunity to meet Master Dadenokala. That was the friend of Shishi system that they have. That is Mahalika, Arnis Mahalika. And with him, I had the opportunity to know about the Grandmaster Hemipresses and the Modern Arnis, etc. And despite of the have Mahalika have some some inspirations, it's a different system. But I have the opportunity with Mahalika. I have the opportunity to learn more about Master Presses, and I have the opportunity to see the tapes, the books. One of the books that I have from Grandmaster Remy Presas was a gift that I received from them. And as soon that I learned about the who Grandmaster Remy Presas was, I look and say, "Oh, that's it. That is what I want. That's it's the style of fighting that I want to learn about it." So I once again, like, I started a new journey to learn more. Is the style that was created by Grandmaster Empresas. To have to meet a lot of nice guys, nice people with a lot of knowledge. But once again, as soon that I learned new stuff, I say, oh, okay, it's very good, but it's not what I'm seeing in the Grandmaster Presence videos and Grandmaster tapes. And the style of fighting is different. I want to learn that style. And one day, I remember that some time ago, I had during this process, I always have the opportunity to watch the Modern Arnis Minute from Datu team, and I have a lot of time that I have a lot of doubts that I have and that time, because I believe that the Modern Arnis Minute was, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years ago. For example, I a simple question: why the belt is on the side? I searched on the internet and I found the video from the tool and the other stuffs that I found. For example, I'm a guy that I like to train forms, and I found some videos from the tool to learn. And I saw that the two have the World Modern Arnis Alliance, and this organization it's open. It's for those who want to join. And not only the organization, also have a curriculum. It had a system of training to teach what modern Arnis is. So I sent him a message and say, probably and we talk a little bit, and he gave me the opportunity to attend a seminar online, because one of the despite of all the shits that happened during the pandemic situation, I believe that one of the good things was this opportunity that we discovered, that we can have a hybrid from different parts of the world training together or learning together. And I have an opportunity to attend one of seminar. After this, I subscribe to the Modern Arnis University, and we talked a little bit and have this opportunity to bring this event here in Brazil. So it's more than 1 year of planning, of training to in March of this year. Or not only for me, there was a great honor to have the opportunity to have 1 week of full intense training with both guys who are guys not only that who know a lot of modern Arnis, but the guys who love modern Arnis, and was an incredible opportunity. And also we have the opportunity to attend to make 2 events here, one in Rio de Janeiro and the other one in São Paulo, to spread and to show to the people, oh, come on here, let's meet this guy, let's meet these guys, and then learn what modern is. So despite of this, the work of Modern Arnis Alliance for me became started some time ago, was this year that we put the cornerstone to say, okay, now the Modern Arnis Alliance is officially here.
Did you freeze all the way?
We're having a little connection issue here. So, hopefully you can hear us. You froze.
There he is back. Maybe.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. We're having a little. It's a little reception issue here.
That is maybe okay.
Okay.
How's it on your end, Talis? Can you? Do we ever break up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Now, yeah.
Let me try to change the connection.
Yep.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it's I talk a lot, but I don't know if you can hear what I told. But it's simply how we began in this work with Modern Arnis Alliance here in Brazil. How I get involved.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I know we've definitely noticed that your activity, and I got to say that Talis does a wonderful job putting out social media posts all the time, really promoting martial arts as a whole down there, and he's involved with many different things. So a lot of the organizations support each other. We had the president of one of the kickboxing associations come to our camp and make a presentation to us. All because Talis is a very good ambassador for martial arts as a whole. So
nice.
Yeah, as soon that nobody know what Arnis is in Brazil, and I believe that is my contribution to the scene of FMA is to promote FMA here in Brazil. So, for example, yesterday we had a kickboxing and a Muay Thai championship. It's promoted by the Interstatal Federation. And I talked to the president and say, maybe we can put some demonstrations and some sparring of Arnis. I say, okay, you can use one of the spaces for this. And for example, yesterday we have the opportunity to show to everybody over there what is how Arnis is, the fighting. So of course that in these situations we put this protection, because the protection, the helmet, all this stuff that they call for the attention of the people, because the people say, oh, what's that?
Right.
It's Power Ranger stuff or something like that. But it's a way for it's a way for the people to know, okay, the people over there, maybe they can never start to practice FMA, but at least if someone asks them about it, say, oh, I saw something like this one day. And I'm trying to do the same, for example, in the Kung Fu Championships, because there's a lot of people who practice on Kung Fu over here. And all the Kung Fu Championships, they always have an open forms championship over there. So I always ask for the guys who are promoted, say, I'm not a Kung Fu professional, but may I attend these competitions? And the last one was very funny because at the day of the competition, I bring my Olisi stick that is very hard, very heavy. And I forgot there was the championship was promoted by the guys from some North styles, if you know, a lot of jumping, kickings, flying stuffs over there. And during I planned one kind of demonstration. I planned one kind of forms, but when I saw that, I saw, oh, I need to change it to have an opportunity, to have a chance to win something. And I changed that, but in the second and in the third battery of the demonstrations, I was draw with another guy and say, oh, you need to practice again, and my hands become a little bit tired because the stick is very heavy. That I bring that and say, oh, I did not bring a lighter stick. But in the end, I finished the competition in third place. Not so bad for not Kung Fu practitioner.
Not so wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up with some of our viewers. So Frank Shakowski, he says hello. Eric says hey to PG Tye. Hey.
Only to me? That's okay.
Yeah, only you. Then what? Haha, Matt Jones. And then Matthew from the San Francisco Bay Area. Those Paris friend of ours. Says hello. Very good.
Master Frank is another guy that I met. I never had the opportunity to meet him in person, but I have a lot of talk with him at the internet. He's always very trustful and comprehensive to talk about and to explain a lot of things, and I also have a lot of help of his videos also.
So the funny thing about Frank, coming in here, so his teacher was Eric Alexander. I used to coach or consult for Eric, and both Frank and Tye trained underneath Eric.
Oh.
Small world.
Yeah.
And then eventually worked directly with Professor Praces down the road.
Yep.
So,
very nice.
Fortunately, I always found in the modern Arnis scene a very warm community. At least for me, I have if everybody that I always talk with is everybody very comprehensive, and English is not my main language, so sometimes I have some I use some bad words, not try to express a bad way, but the people even in US in Canada always have a lot of comprehension. Say, oh no, don't worry, we can understand you. So give me some tips and give some information, directions, and especially to understand what, for example, during I remember that when I started to study about modern Arnis specifically, I have a great difficulty to understand, for example, the difference between modern Arnis, combatant, Renigaran, modern Arnis Mano. At the beginning, I remember the first times I read, see, oh gosh, what's the difference? They're not brothers. And after a lot of study, I love to see talking with the people who practice. Oh, I learned this with combatant, I learned this with Roberto. I learned. Now I got the difference. It's a process. It's not something. It was a part of my process of study and to know more about the art. And unfortunately, I'm very thankful about not about you guys, but also to Master Frank and the other masters and professors from US and Canada that I also have opportunity to talk about it.
Perfect. No, I'm glad you were treated well. That's for sure. Hey, I was going to say, I got a question for you, if you don't mind. I think people might be interested in hearing about your group, right? So you've been running, training this for a while, and now having a group, right? Training group. Can you tell us, how long that's been going? How many? People, kind of give us a sense of your program.
Yes. Well, I have more than probably more than 1 decade teaching FMA, and during for until I have this connection with WMA, I don't have. I always teach to my students something what I learned and what I like it, what I understood, I understand, because I never like it to teach my students something to say, oh, it's the traditional stuff. You need to learn because it's traditional. No, because I prefer to teach what I understood to myself. Oh, I understood why I'm doing this movement. Why, if I'm not understood that movement, I prefer to keep on my personal lab to understand the technique, to say, oh, what I can do with this technique, what's useful.
Claro que
For
sim.
example, yes. For example, I remember during my when I was a kid, there are some movements from some katas that I never understood why that I'm doing that movement. But they say, okay, that's the traditional. Everybody from karate doing the same movement around the world, so you need to say, okay. But I can find this in the FMA, so I need to understand why I'm doing this movement. So during the years, I try to create. If when I don't have a map, because the curriculum is a map. It's a way to know where you are and what you are looking for, where you want to go. So a bad map is better than no map. So I during the years I'm trying to create my map. Of course, because it's not because I'm the good one. No, it's just because I don't have another map. So I need to create my own. But I assume that I discovered, for example, the curriculum of WMA. I said, oh, that's a better map. That's a better map. For two reasons. First one, my map it's limited for those who I teach it, who learn with me. So it's a very small number of people. Second one, I'm not authority on that. So in the case of WMA, we have a curriculum that is spread around the world with different people. You have a lot of people in Canada, we have a lot of people in US, we have a lot of people in Europe practicing this curriculum. So the the number of people experimenting, touching this curriculum to say, okay, this logical is the best one. It's much more bigger than I have on my one.
Okay.
Even this, I believe that we talked this with the other two because, for example, there are some details from the curriculum that say, oh, nowadays in the past I touched this in this blue belt, but I changed to another belt because I saw that a lot of people have difficulty to understand this, so I prefer. So a good curriculum, it's you need to have a lot of people practicing on that to say. And the second reason is that you have the opportunity to learn it from the guy who founded the Modern Arnis, his brother, who also So he had much more. You know, I can give you another example. I until I met the two and met the PG Tye. I learned the videos from Modern Arnis University. I learned all the videos that he posts on the YouTube and all the social medias.
Right.
But there's some details, despite of all the videos and all the information from the curriculum that I searched before. There's a lot of details that I only gotcha when I trained with him face to face in person, because there's some knowledge that you cannot put in words. You can try to write, you can try to record, but it's it's the contact person to person that the knowledge is transmitted. The knowledge is okay, gotcha.
Right.
That's so I believe that same happens with Modern Arnis. I saw a lot of tapes from Grandmaster Prezas. I read his books, but I'm sure that it's not the same experience that the two and all the other guys who trained in person with him had in the past. So nowadays, in my students, so I back to the people to your question. I make this curriculum over here in the past, but nowadays my personal student who those who train with me, we are moving to use the WMA curriculum because it's something that is, of course, it's a process, because I need to explain the people why we did it this way. Now we are doing it that way.
Right.
But yes, but it's my idea is to in very few time to, and of course it's my idea is to show, okay, this is the Modern Arnis. If you want to do the moves, the mindset like you saw and from the Grandmaster Princess, this is the way. This is the best way from to arrive at that point. This is a good map.
Nice. Oh, you're muted, Tim.
Yeah.
I still can't hear
My
you.
dogs have been barking.
Oh, that's
So,
why. Okay.
no, thank you. I got to say this. I was very fortunate. I started in a full-time school. We had a written curriculum. Remy was the silent partner in the school. I could only imagine that Remy had something to do with that curriculum, but nonetheless, all I did is refine it over the years, and it's still a work in progress. It's. I mean, it has to evolve with the times. We end up with better nomenclature and stuff like that all the time, and I'm glad to hear that. Every time I talk to people and they bring this up, it's good that that my efforts haven't gone, that weren't wasted. But let's go here. I got a few people making some comments here. Didn't mean to leave out others out. Hey Datu, hey Guru Talis, because Eric just said hey Ty. So
that's right.
And then I had to read it a couple times. It threw me off a little. And then Mr. Hiltz was teaching this weekend with us. Good evening, gents. Catching up late. And look sharp, PG. Looking sharp, PG Tye. And then here, here's a good one. I'm not sure who wrote this. I would say Renee, but I can't tell for sure. So when you first met Tim, were you surprised at how pale he was?
No.
You wear sunglasses?
The drapes match the carpet. Okay, let me just say that. Okay. So anyways, it sounds like you need more bunk-eye drills. And as you know, drills build skills. Because he talks about us all the time. Yeah. Yes, it was Renee. Of course it was Renee, you bastard.
Of course, yes. Nice. So that I imagine they're enjoying you walking through this and leading them on your journey, which is awesome. So have you only trained then with Dr. Tim and PG Craig, or anybody else in person FMA?
Sorry.
Oh, on your training. So I know you trained with Dr. Tim and PG Craig. Have you trained anybody else with anybody else in person? I know you're there in Brazil, and you say there's not a lot of people there, but doing this. But I was wondering if you've been able to expose yourself directly, hands-on, to anybody else.
Yes. During these years, I have the opportunity to train with a lot of great guys. For example, during a lot of years, I had the opportunity to train with Professor Salen Lee, that was from Santa Academy.
Right.
Unfortunately, he died some 2 years ago, and I have the opportunity to train, as I told you, with Master Dadi Nokala and the brother from during a lot of years. Also, I have the opportunity to train with Master Virgil Cavada.
Yes.
And Guru Jason Basels was a very good friend and a very good painter. He's an artist. And of Master, I have the opportunity to train once with Master René Thompson.
Okay.
So during those years, I have a lot of opportunities. Fortunately, I have a lot of opportunities to meet in person and to training with a lot of great guys, great martial artists, great teachers, and I'm very thankful for the whole experience that I had to learn with them, because it's sometimes it's that stuff that I told about the detail, the gotcha moment.
Right.
It's sometimes it's you can have a feeling that, okay, I know the technique, but sometimes it's another person who show you another way to look the same technique. You say, oh, interesting. It wasn't in the front of my face, and I never saw this way.
Right. Sometimes we have a saying, sometimes it has to be felt. Sometimes you have to feel it.
Yeah. And despite of the style, it's FMA. So, I have an opportunity to match once. Was the Grandmaster Latosa during one of his weeks travels in Brazil.
Oh wow, nice.
There's a lot of great. I have some great guys, great friends in Pequete Church. For example, I have a good friend who's nowadays back to France. Was Guru Mikael. He was the guy who was responsible to bring the Datu Hartman here to Brazil.
Okay.
I have the opportunity to train once with Master Carlos from FCS, and it's interesting because here in Brazil we are completely outside from the mainstream tours of the FMA around the world, because the FMA, it's much more famous is Russia, Europe, and North America.
Right.
So here we are completely outside this, especially because we don't have flights to Philippines. We need to go to Middle East to go to another flight from Philippines. But we have and another guy who I remember that I met some years ago during the both time that he came to Brazil was to home Bill McGrath. Was a very funny guy. Okay. Was very, 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 very gentle and a very comprehensive guy. So, despite of this, it's I believe that I'm a lucky guy because I have this opportunity to enjoy these opportunities, these rare opportunities to meet these guys when they are living or came here to Brazil, to have an opportunity at least to train at least once. to know a little bit, some more to grow step by step in my knowledge in FMA.
Well, and it takes some time to for all those opportunities to come by. Like you said, you're kind of easily forgotten there in South America. So like you said, you've been interested in trying to investigate and delve and develop in FMA for quite a while now. So kudos to you for embarking on that and taking that on. So I'm glad one, that you did that, and two, that you're enjoying where you are now. So thank you for that.
Yeah, because it's one thing that I always tried to have as a target to me is to avoid to create a safe place. How can I explain the safe place? I have the opportunity to train with a lot of people. Even we are in Brazil. We are far from Filipinos. We are far from America. We are far from Europe. Should be very comfortable for me to talk to people. Oh, I train with this guy, that guy, and to create a curriculum that is comfortable to me.
Yep.
Only with the techniques that I know how to do. Should be very comfortable. But in the end, this should be me teaching FMA or Modern Arnis or other kind of style of Modern Arnis, or is me trying to create an excuse to avoid to learn what FMA or what Modern Arnis, what kind of style it is.
I see.
So when I found the curriculum of WMMA, and I'm not talking this because that's too back. no, it's because it's a way when you learn it for those who know the curriculum of WMAA, it's you have a structure that you follow from the white belt until to the black belt. But in this structure, you can try to learn not only how to strike, how to defend, how to lock, how to grab. So we have a lot of knowledge over there, and especially the things are linked, because something that I'm not that boring guy who need to have everybody in the boxes, but for me it's always boring when I learned a detail that's not linked with other stuffs. So in WMA, when I learned a lock, an empty hand lock, the same principle is to be used with the stick, is to be used over there, is to be used over there. So this kind of structure for me, it's amazing, especially because makes me try to develop it and sometimes to watch some details that I'm not comfortable. For example, I cannot be a locking guy. I cannot be, but I need to learn at least the minimum process, the core, to know how to do the disarm. And I learned it. So I believe that the curriculum of WMA make us to remember that we are not stick fighters. We are fighters.
Right.
We are just using sticks as a pedagogic tool to learn some principles that we can adapt to other situations and stuffs.
Nice.
So, I'm dealing with issues. My wife should have been home an hour ago, and we have the first snow.
Oh.
And I was worried about where she was, and it turns out that she got stuck doing stuff at the school.
Okay.
And then Knucklehead over here doesn't shut up.
Of course.
So I'm going to ask these questions. I'm going to mute this.
Sure.
So since it, and then Ty, you can reiterate this.
Sure.
My questions are: what was the biggest impact joining the organization was? Actually, 3. So, what's the biggest accomplishment you've had since joining us, or what's the biggest benefit? And then the other thing would be is, what's your goal for you and the World Modern Arnis Alliance? Like, what's your big goal there? I'm going to get this, but we asked the same question last week. Ty remembers that question. I got to deal with the knucklehead.
Yep, gotcha.
Listen, don't worry about talking about me showing up here. I have the speakers. I can hear you in other rooms. Don't worry about it. I can hear everything.
But he won't remember it, so it doesn't matter.
So I believe that my accomplishment since that I started WMA, since that I started with more familiar with the curriculum and of the structure, was this: to more and more have a luggage. This expression works in Portuguese, but I don't believe that it's working in English. You have a background to show to the people how Arnis is not a stick fighting. It's not just a stick fighting, and even to show that we have the all principles. That it's not here in Brazil. A lot of people thought that is if you like to lock the people, it's aikido. If you like to kick, it's taekwondo. If you like to that people think that martial arts is in the boxes, and I will have, if you learn it, this kind of technique, you are in that box. But it's not this. The martial arts as a human product, and like a humans, everything is it's related. Of course, that during the years, some martial arts become more specialized in some kind of techniques for cultural society think, or for other kind of reasons. For example, the judo becomes an Olympic game, Olympic sport. To become an Olympic sport, he needs to lose some details, some parts of the techniques. If you watch the old pictures of Jigoro Kano, you can see here for bokken, for weapons that no more exist in judo.
Right.
So, but it's what's necessary to become an Olympic sport. Right. Even in boxing, if you watch a match of Olympic boxing and professional boxing, sometimes it looks like a completely different sport, because the rules, the techniques is completely different. Right. So with the curriculum of World Modern Arnis Alliance, I had the opportunity to found all these details that I talked before, and I felt that I was more capable to show to the people how modern Arnis is not a complete in the sense to say, forgot all the martial arts are shit, we are the best. No, not in this way, but in the way to show that we have all the principles that moves all the great martial arts we have here, working together in one principle. And until now, I have that's my personal accomplishment with the WMA until now, and my goal is to keep to improve here in Brazil. My dream is someday we have all the process, all the examinations. I have all the guys who are graduated in Modern Arnis should be graduated in WMA, and especially to have much more black belts and professors from FMA following the WMA curriculum here in Brazil, promoting students in the curriculum. I believe that it's to make this thing works. It's not supposed to be locked with me. I cannot be the only black belt of WMA in Brazil. I need to have more, because I'm not a full-time instructor. I'm a part-time instructor. I have another job, so I cannot spread. And even if I was a full-time instructor, Brazil is very big. It's so big, like U.S. and Canada. So one people cannot teach the whole country. So we need to have more people teaching and following the principles. And spreading the martial arts in the same way that we think about it. So For the next years, my goal is to keep this. For next years, we are planning with the Datu team for another event here in Brazil.
Nice.
And the Datu team during this whole process, and I need to say thank you to him, because during his whole process, he always understood that the scenario in Brazil is not the scenario of US.
Sure.
I'm not, and it's not asking for to okay, I will be more easy for you, because no, not to act like this.
Right.
But to understand the situations, and to make it available to discuss how we can do it better, how we can make it worse, how we can make things going in the right direction, but keeping the essence and keeping the way in the things we are doing.
So making it accessible in the right way.
Yes.
It's important. And Professor, I think, I know I didn't come up with this on my own.
Right.
Professor opened the door for me to do things. Oh, wait a minute. I have to say this. Hold on. Renee, I hope you're listening. Remy. Okay, so tell us. Renee Kokolo made a game up. Every time I would say Remy, he has to drink a shot of something. So especially when I know he's on the show, I will say Remy more often, just so I can get him drunk quicker. But anyways, Professor Price has traveled the world, and I didn't travel the world. I do now, but when I learned these lessons, it was through him. And if we listened to him and had the time to spend with him, he had a lot more to offer. I mean, unfortunately, English wasn't his primary language, and you really need to spend a lot of time with him, and not just on the mats, it's off the mats that was important. And, I realized, when because he opened up a lot of doors for me to travel, and I talked to the people, listen to them, look at things like their economy and stuff like that. Look at things like, what's their public transit system? Is it spread out? I mean, like you said, Brazil and the States are both huge, and it's spread way out, and it's hard to travel everywhere. And this is what I've always said. I want us all to work together. I know people in many industries, and I see it in ours, they get territorial, but it's like, come on, there's 50 states. I could do, if I was to do a seminar in every state once, I'd only have 2 weeks left over for downtime. I don't want to run ragged. I mean, Professor did that, and he did it two states a weekend. And there's too many people out there for all of us for one person to teach. And if we work together properly, we can all learn from that. Oh, and by the way, Chris Davison says, "Snazzy tie."
I am Tye.
Tye is wearing a tie. Tye is Tye.
Literally.
So I know the other thing too is because I know Talis and I have talked quite a bit, and I want to give him a compliment in a moment here. And we talked about you before, but he also wants to make sure that there is access for his people in Portuguese, which is a huge underground, because everything out there is in English and then Spanish. And how many countries in the world speak? Oh, is that your lovely wife going by? Tell your wife I said hello. But most of the people, they don't speak Portuguese, they speak Spanish. So living in Brazil is a very large challenge to communicate with everyone else. And I know one of the things that he wants to do is to create a database of material that is accessible by his people, being done in written or in audio in the Portuguese language, which is a huge project. And I wish you all the luck, because once that's completed, it helps more. I mean, I know 2 countries that would benefit from that: Brazil and Portugal. I don't know how many others speak Portuguese. Tell us how many countries speak Portuguese.
We have some countries in Africa, and even in Asia. In Asia, we have some territories. For example, in China, there's Macau. In India, there's Goa, but it's a territory. It's not a full country. So the main countries I have that speak Portuguese nowadays is Brazil, Portugal, Angola, and Mozambique. So
Yeah. So very. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, and that's it's good that that you want to tackle that project. I think it's a great project, and who better to do it? Okay, I'm looking this up right now. Yeah, there's not that many places.
let me
Brazil,
show you.
Mozambique, Angola, Portugal,
Right.
Guinea, East Timor. A lot of places I cannot pronounce, but there's not many. Not many. Holy cow!
Just to show you, this is one of my books here. Is the Filipinos História e Artes Marciais, Filipinos History and Martial Arts.
Nice.
The first edition of this book was released 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And this is the third version. Unfortunately, when Datu and PJ was here in Brazil, it was I didn't have any copy of me.
Oh.
They arrived. Unfortunately, they arrived as soon as they back to US.
Right.
But in this book, I have a lot. I try to explain in Portuguese the history of martial arts and the history of Philippines for the people. We are trying to understand how the country was born. And the second one that I released some weeks ago was specifically about the modern harness. It's the history of Grandmaster presses, with some pictures and everything in Portuguese. And I always put on a short biography about the guys who in modern harness, because sometimes for the people in Brazil, they don't understand where this guy came from. Of course, you can read on the internet, just a simple search on Google, you can find it. But sometimes it's difficult for the people to understand. For example, there's a short biography of the two Datu Hartman here. Oh, who is the Datu Hartman? Where he learned it? And of course, some pictures. And I also put some other biographies from the other guys, even from the people from the modern harness. For example, I put your PG Tye over here.
Look at that.
Yeah,
a good picture,
because there's a explanation to see who is PG Tye.
There we go. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah, thank you.
Unfortunately, I did it. There's about another one of PJ Craig.
Nice.
Yeah. I guess we're going to have to learn Portuguese to see what he wrote about us.
That's right.
Yes. Unfortunately, he didn't send me his picture with Grandmaster Prezes with the mustache, because I prefer to use that one. It's the best picture that I saw. But the idea is to provide this content in Portuguese. Despite, unfortunately, a lot of people in Brazil do not speak English and even Spanish. So, despite we are surrounded by Spanish speaker countries, very few people have a second language over here. So, a lot of people just only speak Portuguese. So, it's a way to make this knowledge accessible to the people.
Yeah. It was funny. We were down in Caracas with Carl. We were down teaching Arnis at a Kempo event, and we're in Caracas, which is the middle of Venezuela. And he's trying to speak English to people. I'm like, Carl, I don't know Spanish. I know a few words here now. I'm like, dude, why doesn't everyone speak English? Because we're in South America. Because like no one speaks English down here. You know, we're in the middle of Caracas, Venezuela, Spanish. We go up, we're next to Colombia. You know what they speak there, Carl? I don't know. Spanish. Panama, Spanish. Mexico, Spanish. Okay. Now you go down south, it's going to be a lot of Spanish unless you go to Let's go to Brazil. You know what they speak there, Carl? I don't know. Well, it's not Spanish, but it's also not English. It's Portuguese, brother. So it's not. I know the challenges. You know, I mean, the good thing is because of YouTube, which we didn't have back when we were doing this stuff.
Right.
YouTube and all these streaming services, a lot of people get to hear different languages, not just English. You know, when I was over in Sweden, I spent time there, and I'm like, they go, hey, Tim, for your birthday, because I was over there for my birthday one time, we're going to watch Gladiator. I'm like, I can't speak Swedish. Don't worry about it. Well, all the movies over there are done in subtitles, so you get to hear the language. And no matter what the language is, they keep it in its native tongue. So it was great because I was actually learning. I was watching their TV and learning words by watching TV, you know. But I'm hoping that when I come down next, I'll be better because I just bought Rosetta Stone. I got access to, I got a lifetime ticket for all 25 languages they offer. And it's not necessarily going to help me speak it, but there's a lot of exercise that makes me understand it. I mean, it'll get me both. So here's the thing. So Talus tested for his black belt. So he's in the university. He's done the first half. He's got the black belt for the completing the course. When we see each other in person, we'll do the second half, and then we'll put him where he's supposed to be. So Talus made me understand about taking things for granted. He was in a room that had bad acoustics. We were having problems communicating, and the situation. And I was telling, and we actually talked about this before, Talus. I actually said how good you did, and I was getting very frustrated because I couldn't figure out how to communicate with you. And I stop, and the acoustics were bad and all this other stuff. Until I grabbed, and I'm looking up. I've got my other monitor over here, that way, which way, whatever way. And you know, I'm typing in things, but I can't pronounce the words. So I bring out my phone and start using Google Translate, which has a speaker option. Huge difference. And I want to thank, once again, Talus for the patience for us to figure out on our end how we were going to do this properly. And it's made me learn and change things for the future. You be quiet.
And especially because it's interesting because it's completely different. We are here talking. We're speaking in English, and we are. I'm talking. I'm listening to you, but during the exam, it's completely different. Sometimes during the stress now, because I need to think before to talk in English with you, and sometimes I need to think in what you asked me, and okay, it's a slower process. So,
yes,
but during the exam, the stress, you need to remember the technique. This complete disappear. It's gone.
Thanks for putting up with us, because we were, you know, it was the first time that we had, you know, it was the first for all of us. We had a problem dealing with communication. I'm not used to being in that position. And it was, I just didn't know what to do. And my frustration was just as much, if not more, with me, because I just couldn't. It was like, you know, it's like, what do I need to do? Because, you know, I always look at when there's a problem, I don't start from the bottom up. I go from the top down. Right. So, you know, when there's a problem, like when someone leaves my school, like sometimes I push people out to school, you know, they weren't good for the school. There was a bad dynamic. They didn't gel. Hey, you know, there's another good school around the corner, blah, blah, blah. But if someone that I've liked for a while, we've got, you know, they're a really good kid and the parents or whatever, and all of a sudden they disappear out of the blue. I'm like, the first thing I'm like, what did we do wrong? What could we have done better to keep them in the school? Now, sometimes, listen, they're moving. They have financial issues. The child is having issues with school, so they need to do more time. They need more, you know, this, that, and the other. So there's a whole bunch of things. So, like, when I look at a problem, you know, the first thing I do is, what could I have done to make that a better situation? So, you know, we figured it out. We've got some people reaching out from us from other countries, and I'm making sure that I have Google Translate on my phone. Right. Because all I did was I go, and I played it and put it up to the microphone.
Mhm.
Blah, 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 blah. And oh my goodness, you would think they were two different tests, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, I mean, it wasn't a good situation, but it was a good learning opportunity. And you know, I'm just glad that Talos put up with my frustration, and he saw it through, and he did exactly what a black belt candidate's supposed to do: suck it up, make the best of the situation. Don't get frustrated. Well, I mean, you can get frustrated, but don't let it stop you, and move forward and get the job done. And he did that.
The show must go on.
Yep.
There you go. So let me see here. What's this here? Chris, translate it on the fly of your head. It's hard. Okay. Yes, it is. There we go. Is modern Arnis easier to learn than Shaolin Kempo? You know, Matt, I'm going to sit there and say this. I don't think any art is hard to teach. I think it's all based on the instructor. You know, there's certain things that I don't want to attempt to teach. I think there's some things that might be a little overcomplicated, you know, but then again, you can take a move and break it down to smaller pieces.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about this at the camp this weekend, where I looked at another another instructor from a popular system who was teaching. It wasn't the head guy. It was one of his top instructors underneath him. And we were at an event, and overcomplicated stuff. Had all these, here's the base move. You did like 5 moves ahead of it, did 10 moves afterwards. Why don't you just do the base move so everyone can figure it out? And I've had people pull me to the side, help me. We're done. We can't figure this out. We're frustrated. And I think really what it boils down to is more the teacher than anything else. So, you know, some people, they just can't. I mean, some people need to be conditioned to learn properly. I usually find like a 12-inch hunk of rattan is a good conditioning thing.
My 2 cents about this question. I never learned Shaolin Kempo, so I don't know how hard it is or how hard is it. But I remember here in Brazil, we had an opportunity to make an interview with Datu Hartman and PG Tye to Guro TV. And during the interview, PG Tye, he talks about when he started with Modern Arnis. He was a karate guy because there is a lot of karate in his city. And once, in just a moment, he learned about FMA and started training, and he became comfortable with that. The way of in FMA that we fight became comfortable to him. And I see myself in his answer, because what attracted me to FMA is because it's that, and I believe that everybody who practices FMA is become comfortable. You know how this is a way that's natural, and if it's natural, it's easier. So I believe that's not the question. Is the Shaolin Kempo or other style? Is if the way of fighting of modern is natural to you, probably should be easier. Not because the art is easier, is cheaper, or something like that. No, it's just because it's more natural for you.
Okay, so let's we're at an hour and a half. Let me do a couple quick questions, and then we'll wrap things up here. You know, and of course, we'd love to have you on again, Talos. That would be great.
Absolutely, yeah.
So first of all, boom, let's do this. You're analyzing a student's leaving. Is maybe a situation better than you're just a great teacher? Okay, all right, thank you. And Chris and Craig fight all the time in tournaments, so that's good. Why is pressure testing necessary? To make sure your stuff works. Short answer. There's a bigger answer than that. Here's one. I'm going to put my microphone off on this one because Tyr's getting dumb again. Well, he's not getting dumb. He's just always a pain in my butt. And I don't know if you guys can hear him, but that's all I get to hear. Ty, if you can read this while I mute my mic.
Sure. From Sam again. Does anyone know how capoeira or its ancestor arts were before colonization? Or is that knowledge lost to history?
In the case of capoeira, there's no the capoeira born during the colony periods in Brazil. Of course, the Africans who came to Brazil, they have their own fighting style, but it's not capoeira. It's a fighting style because all the societies have fighting styles. All the societies develop since that the first human being born from or raised from the monkey or something like that, he uses his hand to slap or to stab another one. So all the societies develop. So of course that these Africans they have this own way of practicing, but the development, the basis of capoeira born here in Brazil. It's not better, it's not worse than the African styles. It's like the Afro-Brazilian religions. Of course, the guys in Africa they have their own religion, but there's some religions that born in Brazil, like Umbanda, Candomblé, and other kinds of African religions. There are some roots in the African ones, but it's a South American product, as I can say. The capoeira is the same. So, of course, nowadays there's a lot of movements and researchers from the African history trying to found the traces from not only about capoeira but all the other stuffs. So there's a lot of people that are working about it, and I believe that it's like science. The years pass by, and you need to put new blocks of knowledge to understand more from where it comes.
Oops, you're muted again. Yep,
Who
still
would
muted.
have thought we would have been solving all these questions here? That's
right.
a nice diversity of what we do. We talk about Arnis, and next thing you know, we get to fill in the blanks for some other stuff. So obviously, I know we've got the event coming up in April, tentatively. What events do you have coming up? What's the next thing you got going on?
Nowadays, I don't have a closed schedule. I just have my regular classes here in Rio de Janeiro, but I'm talking with some guys from the other country, or other towns around Rio de Janeiro and other states to make more seminars and workshops. I prefer to call workshops because it's like a big class for 2 or 3 hours to introduce people to have the opportunity. Because nowadays I'm working in despite of my regular classes, I'm working in 2 ways to promote FMA. The first one is to attend the championships and tournaments as long that I have the opportunity. Bring my students or bring some friends to demonstration, like sparring, stuff like that, just people. And the other one is to promoting some workshops to introduction to the martial arts. It's an opportunity for those who never had a chance to fight in Arnis, even to put a stick in a hand and have a slash 1-2 1-2 fighting back, but just to have the feeling of I practiced there once.
That's
Even
right.
that these people do not work. But nowadays, I'm not have any closed agenda. I always that I have this opportunity. I always publish in my Instagram, and the same way I sent to Datu to publish at the website. For example, some 1 month ago, I was in São Paulo bringing a workshop about the close range fights. It's like a preparation to make people to make the people feel the desire to go to the event with the two next year, because next year we are planning a seminar, an event with a close range, multi-walk, and all this content with the tool. So it's just I forgot the name in English. It's a bait for the people to to know. So you learn this with me. Do you like it? You have opportunity to learn with a guy who knows much more than me next year. So
Perfect. Very good.
Well, and that's what we want. You know, we want to keep this thing moving. We want to get the art out there. You know, I look at as we do stuff, you know, what is the thing and how we get there. And the big thing is that I want us all together to be successful. I like going to Brazil, but I don't want Brazil to have me down there because they need me. Any of the places I go, I want them all to be self-sufficient so they can shoot. They want me to come because they want me to be there, not because they feel that need. You know, and I had a blast in Rio and Sao Paulo. I'm looking forward to going back down again. We'll keep it on the QT because by then I should have my blue belt. It took me 20 years to get it, but you know, but I don't want them challenging. Right now I'm still looking at I might have to get a knee replacement. So you know, actually just before I went down there, I mean Tye was there. That's when I had all that problems walking. They sucked all that fluid out of my knee. And I'm in a better position, but got a long ways to go. Okay.
And personally, I have I not only want to bring the tool over here, but I also have my personal plans to some. I don't know if next year or the other one to go to the Buffalo to attend a gathering, and especially to meet other members of the FMA, or even to found the Niagara Falls in a barrel like the woodpecker.
Right.
They did really do that at one time, but they don't do that anymore. So I'm sorry, Tallis. We won't be able to do that activity, but we'll figure out some other ones for you. So great. I think this is awesome. So let's wrap things up here. Tallis, I'm going to just take you out for a minute. Tye and I are going to do our thing.
And wait in the background. Yeah.
But yeah, wait in the background. Thanks. Okay, so what's your website again? So here we go. www.tallis tailsaz.com. Okay, go check them out down there. You can find them on a link to what we got. Once you get more seminars, send them my way, and I'll make sure they're up on the website. And listen, as always, don't be afraid to pester me and say you didn't put it up there. I do have the April event up there as a placeholder. We'll get more details as we go. So, but once again, there we go. Need to get Tallis out to the Martial Arts Festival. That would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So, hey, Tallis, are you coming to the seminar, the free seminar we're doing this weekend?
Yes, on Saturday. I made my subscription as soon as you release.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, I believe
actually that was filling up.
Nice.
We're not broadcast. We are only doing it live. We are not recording it. We're not dumping it on Facebook. We are just going to do through Google Meet. So for those who want to do this, it is a free event. It's Tye, it's Craig, and myself teaching different things. And actually, for everybody, here's the deal. If you're live, you can ask questions. And the questions could be saying, hey, could you show me double action abanico? No problem. And by all means, ask for Visidario and see how we answer that one.
Or you can ask, how I shave my head.
And then maybe he'll do a demonstration of that.
Just like Pelon.
All right. So give us a minute, Tallis. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Datu. Thank you, PJ. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Tallis is
very
awesome.
Good.
I love him.
Very good.
And then it's good that Eric and his daughter and her boyfriend, too. Oh, wow. Full house. So listen, if you're in Brazil, look Tallis up. Brazil is huge. I didn't realize how big it was.
It's ginormous. Yes.
Ginormous.
Yeah. It's only got one tree in the forest.
There only one big tree.
That's right.
It's like in Avatar, but different.
That's
But-
right. That's right.
But listen, Talos is a great guy. If you get a chance to work with him, by all means. A lot of stuff going on. Let me see here.
That
Right
was
now,
really good. I like
we
how
have
much
38
information-
people for the seminar, by the way.
Well, it's funny because I went and shared it a couple places as well, and I think a few other people did too. So yeah, we got to do that and then gets that word out, right? And it's free. I mean, come on.
Listen, we used to do, okay, so this is what I want to talk about the show. I think next year we're coming up. We've got only 2 more shows left.
And then we get a raise.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Guida, you're down in Jamaica? No wonder I haven't seen you in
Say
class.
what? Wow.
No wonder. Okay, I'm not going to see him in class this week.
Okay.
So I get to take off if no one shows. No, I'll have my virtual guys. We used to do a free event prior to COVID. I was the first one to do a martial arts seminar on Facebook, period, let alone Filipino martial arts. And we did a couple of years in a row. Then COVID got in the way. This is something we do to pay it forward. We are not. Maybe next year we'll put it on Facebook. Maybe the guys will convince me this year to put it on Facebook. I don't know. But the big thing was that we want to have that interaction, and it's much harder to do that on Facebook. That's why we're using Google Meet. So definitely no classes this week. Only rum. You can't spell rum right. Okay, you've had too much rum. Datu equals tread center. Okay. Yeah, so definitely no class this week, only rum. He's got to learn obviously he's had way too much rum because there is no N or L, and he's not running, not even to get the rum. And thank you. Hey, Chris, I'm going to have to, the weather messed things up. Tomorrow may not work for the rattan, but let me see what I can put together. Hey, good evening from Waco, Texas.
Oh,
all right. Hey, Terrell.
How you doing?
Terrell, not Terrell.
Mangino. Mangino. Oh, I can't remember how to pronounce that, but yes.
Okay, so yeah. So okay, so I'm just looking at a couple messages that came in. So let's do this. We'll wrap things up. Next week is going to be the second last show of the season. We are going to do wow, Ty is dressed up. Yes, he is. He came from work.
It's work. Right?
No, this is what he lounges around in the house wearing.
That's right.
He makes us peasants look, like most of the time he'll just say, all right, I'll put a t-shirt on to make everyone else feel better.
What I'm not showing you is that I have shorts on or maybe no pants.
Let's not go there. It's not that kind of a show.
That's right. Well, nobody's going
or is it?
Sure.
So next week we're going to talk about it'll be the part 3 WMA USA. I'll have some guests on there. Who knows, will pop in. And like I said, we're just talking about what we've done in the States and things that we're happy about or in the organization in the respective places. And where we're going. The week after that, that'll be the 11th. That'll be the season finale. We'll do a quick review of the seminar I do with Guru Terrell Richardson of Smoking
right.
Sticks.
Yep.
I'm not used to not being able to see those Thai biceps.
I'll be a couple different looks, don't I? Yep.
They'll be this. Guida says stand up. Daddy, thanks, but no thanks.
That's right.
I really do enjoy doing this show. It's fun. We got a good family on here.
Yeah.
We put the fun in dysfunctional.
There you go.
There you go. So listen, we'll do the last show on the 11th, and then we'll start back up sometime in January. We're looking at a couple different dates, and the first show we found out it's going to be about nothing. And those shows actually have a tendency of working out better because it comes up with good content for the future.
Yeah.
So listen, if you get a chance, go to the website, sign up for the seminar. It's free. It is noon to 2 Eastern Savings Time this Saturday. Triple threat, Ty, Craig, and myself. And you'll be able to ask to see things within reason.
That'll be the last seminar before my new hip.
Okay. And then we're going to talk about that after the show, too. I just want to get your schedule for this week.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then we'll talk about that Blunt Walk thing as well. But you already knew about it. But yeah, we'll talk about it. All right. Well, listen, everybody. As always, this is a pleasure. I want to thank my co-host, PG Tye, for joining me again. And, you know, I'm really glad that we made this a double feature in general. I like the fact that we switched this over to be the two of us versus a solo act. It's so much better. So much better. And we both gel off of each other. And then, okay. When is it? Okay. So this weekend is the 35th anniversary of celebration for my school. 35 years of what I consider excellence. The seminars from noon to 2. Actually, Craig is doing an all-age seminar, probably mostly kids, but an all-age seminar at 11 a.m. for Pontoon style, or kickboxing type stuff.
Nice.
At noon, the three of us teach the triple threat, and people who are there personally, we are going to go a little longer than just 2 o'clock.
No doubt.
No doubt. Then the parties, it's a potluck dinner. Bring a plate of food or kick in for a mega pizza because we'll probably get a couple of sheets pizzas from next door from Pudgy's. That's going to start at 5. Goes to about 7:30-ish. The kids are going to do some demos as well as so we're testing the kids on Wednesday, the teens and adults on Thursday. They will get their belts if they pass, but we're going to do the certificate ceremony at the party. And I will have PG, Craig, and Ty and others be part of that ceremony.
Nice. Yep, that'll be good. I always love seeing.
Bring some venison. Oh, we like venison.
God. I love venison. Bring all of it. I will eat all of it at once.
Okay, all right. And there you go. Hey, wait a minute. Chris, have you met Ty? I'll wait for that answer.
I was going to say, you can't ask me because I can't remember a damn name. I can recognize the person.
You and I have, actually, he's a year younger than us, too.
Oh.
So, well, you and I have, we have old timers.
Yeah, he has to remember
Miles. Yeah, I don't think he's met you yet, but we'll see.
He's probably better off.
Never. All right. Well, I mean, if you really want to curse yourself, definitely hang out with us on Saturday.
That's right.
Don't say I didn't warn you. All right, listen. Always a pleasure. Everybody, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
And PG Tye. Take care.
See you all soon.